Why should I live? This is a basic question and a fundamental choice we face. I bet this question must have popped up at least once in your life at some or the other point. So watch till the end of the video if you want to grasp the answer from a new perspective. Philosophers have given various answers to this question followed by reasons to support their claim. First, let me throw some light on this issue by quoting the French-Algerian philosopher Albert Camus, who wrote in his book The Myth of Sisyphus. There is but one truly serious philosophical problem, and that is suicide. Judging whether life is or is not worth living amounts to answering the fundamental question of philosophy. All the rest, whether or not the world has three dimensions, whether the mind has 9 or 12 categories, comes afterwards. These are games. One must first answer. Along the same lines, the Romanian French philosopher Émile Cioran wrote in his book On the Heights of Despair, if I were to be totally sincere, I would say that I do not know why I live and why I do not stop living. The answer probably lies in the irrational character of life, which maintains itself without reason. In another instance, he writes, the fact that life has no meaning is a reason to live, moreover, the only one. The Indian philosopher U.G. Krishnamurti, popularly known as UG, when asked, why does he live? Answered that he did not choose to be born, so why should he choose to die? According to Charvaka, an ancient Indian philosophical school, we should live for the sole purpose of experiencing pleasure. Their reasoning goes like this. Just as a person should separate bones and scales from the fish to enjoy the pleasure of eating it, and he should not refuse it because it has scales and bones, so also a person should not discard pleasure through the fear of pain that inevitably accompanies it. The Buddha, on the other hand, acknowledges the fact that life is full of suffering and refrains from asking questions like the meaning and purpose of life, and instead focuses on alleviating the suffering. He used the following parable to illustrate this. Suppose someone was hit by a poisoned arrow and his friends and relatives found a doctor able to remove the arrow. If the man were to say, I will not remove it until I know whether the person who had shot it was a priest, a prince, or a merchant, his name and his family. I will not have it taken out until I know what kind of bow was used and whether the arrowhead was an ordinary one or an iron one. The person would die before all these things are ever known to him. Now, putting all that aside for a while, let me introduce you to my viewpoint, which is a new way of looking at life and reality. However, let me state at the outset that my attempt to answer the question is only a response from my side rather than a comprehensive and a definitive answer. And I do not claim that this alternative view is more compelling than others. To begin with, let us set aside all the beliefs for which there are no proofs, like the existence of God and the afterlife, and let us see what the modern science tells us about the universe's origin and its ultimate fate. The best supported theory of our universe's origin centers on an event known as the Big Bang. According to this theory, space and life emerged around 13.8 billion years ago, and the energy and matter initially present have become less dense as the universe expanded. Coming to the ultimate finale of the universe, if the currently accepted parameters about the shape of the universe are correct, then Big Freeze is the most probable fate of the universe, though not certainly. What is Big Freeze? Edwin Hubble stated that the universe is expanding. The Big Freeze is a scenario under which the continued expansion will result in a universe that will asymptomatically approach absolute zero temperature. So in the absence of any temperature difference, all the interesting phenomena, including life, will cease to happen. Almost all the matter will decay and every star will die. The universe will become darker and darker. Eventually, black holes will dominate the universe, but they will also disappear over time by emitting Hawking radiation. So the universe will end up uniformly cool, dead and empty. According to this theory, it will take about 100 trillion years for our universe to reach this stage. All this is an attempt to show that life as we know it had a beginning and will also come to an end. That it's not eternal. One thing which is clear, even without knowing any of this, is that you did not exist or live before you were born. Similarly, you will not live or exist after you die. So compared to the grand time scale of the universe, you will exist only for a tiny fraction of time. No matter how much we will be able to extend our lives in the future, it will still be a fraction of a moment. It shows that our conception of a long life, which is based on the existing technology at a particular period of time, is actually and factually a really short life when compared to the time scale of the universe. Also, life is not only very short but also extremely rare and fragile. That is, it may cease to exist any moment the conditions are inimical to its survival. All these insights direct us to the final answer we are seeking. It is worth giving life a shot, as anyhow we are most likely going to die, despite our efforts to make it last forever, which makes life worth living in spite of the experiences of sorrow which are temporary. Finally, the impermanent nature of life and happiness, instead of deterring us to live, should encourage us to live all the more. Thank you for watching, and before I end this video, let me take this opportunity to encourage you to subscribe to my channel and turn on the bell notification so as not to miss any future videos from me.